EU, or Europa Universalis, is, as you may know, a 4x game of empire building. So the map board is at the heart of the game, but there are several ways of building your empire. It's not just waging war, it's using diplomatic means of subjugating other nations as well. And it's also about discovery of new parts of the world. And you can also trade, build the internal structure of your state, and several other things. So I'll go through the sequence of play briefly first. The sequence of play is we play in rounds, and each round has 4 phases. The first phase is the draw cards phase, where you draw 3 action cards. You may choose to draw any type of card. You can draw 3 from one deck if you like. Then you have to pay 2 gold for each card that you want to keep in your hand. Then we move on to the action phase, which is the meat of the game, I should say. Everybody takes turns doing one action at a time to keep player downtime low. And doing an action is an action from the list of basic actions, or playing a card. And I'll get back to the card when I've done the 2 other phases. So, phase number 3 is the peace resolution phase. It only happens if there is an ongoing war. If not, you jump straight to the 4th and final phase, which is income and upkeep. You get 1 ducat for each of the small provinces and 2 gold ducats for the big province. And then you have to pay for your armies. So you pay 1 for each unit that you have in the field. You pay for ships that are at sea, 1 gold as well. And you have to pay for your advisors. And that brings me to the cards. I just get a couple from each deck. So, there are 3 decks of action cards, and they correspond to the 3 areas of monarch power: administrative power, diplomatic power, and military power. For any action of the military type, you need to spend military points. For diplomatic actions, you need to spend diplomatic points, and for administrative actions, you need to spend administrative points. You can see the point cost of the card in the top left corner. Some cards have a gold cost in addition to the monarch power cost. And all cards are dual function. So you may see that there is an action on the scroll at the top. This is what you do when you pay the cost in the top left corner. But you may alternately play him as a character, which you see at the bottom there. So you choose either or, not both. And there are 2 types of characters. It's the circular portraits, which are leaders. You can use as your monarch or ruler. And you can also use them as generals commanding your armies. The square portraits are advisors that you employ in your government that gives you extra income in their field of monarch power. Okay?
You have to pay gold for those advisors?
Yes. So to employ the advisor, you pay the cost to the left to hire him. And then the cost to the right is the upkeep of keeping him in your employment.
So for him it's 6 gold or 2?
6 gold at first, okay. And then 2 every round that you keep.
He gives me like diplomatic power?
Yes, he gives you 2 extra cubes of diplomatic power each round.
Okay.
So, yes, I'll also explain briefly these cubes on the map. As I said, these are provinces. Those are the ones, the tokens that decide the extent of your realm, really, and your income and your manpower. Whereas these are diplomatic influence cubes, and those are required for several of the diplomatic actions to be able to perform them. So it's always good to have influence out on the map. Having a claim, like you see down there in Granada, is a valid reason for war. It gives you casus belli. If you declare war without a casus belli, you would lose 2 stability. And stability affects your income and your monarch power, so that's bad. France has claims on all the English provinces inside of France, might be worth noting. France, on the other hand, also has an alliance with Scotland. Yes, I think that's pretty much, well, I'll just briefly go into combat as well. So, to declare war is free. That's a free action, so you can do that in addition to moving your army. You would use the activate army action, spending 1 military cube to move your army. So, for instance, the French army can move in here and fight a battle with the English. You fight a battle right away, and both sides, as basis, roll 3 dice, and you have to match the symbols on the dice with the type of units that you have in your army, or that participate in the combat. You cannot score more hits than you have units, and you cannot score hits from the horsemen or the cavalry, unless you have a cavalry unit, right? If you have a general in your commanding your army, you'll be adding dice, looking at its military skill. That's how many extra dice you get. And on the banner shows the type of die that you get. So this guy gives you 3 extra blue dice. And no one has cannons yet, so they don't score hits on the cannons, but they will still score hits on the infantry. Okay? I think that's the brief introduction that I need to give you before we start trying it out.